All right, and news for the run. Starting off with college football, the game day scores. It was some good games in college football this weekend. A lot of upsets. Oh my gosh, it was a lot of upsets. So number 4, Tennessee, they were number 4. I'll give you the new rankings, but I'll just pick up where I left off. Number 4, Tennessee, they fell short to Arkansas, who's not even ranked. They lost that game 19-14. Georgia, they did take care of business against Auburn in that huge rivalry. They won 31-13. Iowa, they lost to Ohio State 35-7. Penn State, they beat UCLA 27-11. Miami, they were ranked number 8, and they almost lost this game against California, but they came back in the last minute victory. Man, I looked at it for a second. I cut the game off. I'm like, no way, absolutely no way Cal blows this league, but they did. And shout out to Miami, man, because that was a crazy performance, crazy comeback. You had Texas A&M. They were ranked number 25, and they beat Missouri, who was ranked number 9, 41-10. This was a beatdown in that game. Number 11, USC was disappointed because they lost to an unranked team in Minnesota. Ole Miss, they did take care of business against South Carolina, 27-3. But above all, you have Florida State. They still in a huge slump. They lost to Clemson, who's ranked number 15. And the games that you do care about, Alabama and Vanderbilt, was a game that just really blew my mind. I didn't know what to do. Watching Bama get beat like this, I wanted to just go in a corner and cry. I was sad, bro. I was sad. I'm not gonna lie. I was sad. They lost to Vanderbilt 40-35. Man, it was just rough. It was rough. But shout out to Vanderbilt, man. You got to give credit where it's due. They did their thing. Michigan, they lost to Washington, who's unranked as well. Another upset. Michigan was ranked number 10, and now they are not ranked number 10 anymore. They lost to Washington 27-17. And man, it was just wild. It was wild. So some of the new rankings, I'll just give you, the top 5 teams as of right now, and then maybe I'll go into some more. But as of right now, the new number 1, because it was previously Bama, but they are not number 1 after losing to Vanderbilt. Texas is now number 1. Ohio State is number 2. Oregon is number 3. Penn State at number 4. And Georgia at number 5 in college football right now. Bama, they were number 1, but they dropped down to number 7. You had undefeated Miami. They were at number 8, but now they're at number 6. And Tennessee, they were ranked top 5 as well. They were at number 4, and they fell all the way to number 8. So it's crazy, man. Things are changing in college football. But some of the other teams too that you might notice, Notre Dame, they're still at number 12 right now. Clemson, they're at number 10. You got LSU 13, Texas A&M now 15, they're a ranked team. Michigan is pretty much falling off the board. They're at number 24 from previously being ranked at number 10. And man, that's rough. But the cool thing, Oregon at number 3. You got 3 Big Ten schools in a top 5 right now. That's crazy to say because Oregon is Big Ten and Penn State is Big Ten and Ohio State. That's crazy. Well, anyway, look, man, hey, later on this week, I'll give you some more matchups of, everything that happened. But let's move to the NFL because we know there's a couple of great games coming on, or there's one great game coming on. Now you got the Saints and the Chiefs. That's happening in Kansas City. But to recap some of the scores from the NFL, obviously, from talking and listening to me, I would say the Jets, they lost to the Vikings 23-17. The Bears, they played in London also, and they won that game 36-10 over the Carolina Panthers. It was a beatdown. Ravens had a great win in overtime against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that pushed the Bengals to 1-4. Ravens, they won 41-38. They're 3-2 now, back positive. But man, the Bengals, this is rough for them. I mean, man, 1-4? Oh yeah, those playoff chances is getting shot by the week, more and more. You had the Commanders, they beat the Browns 34-13. Jaden Daniels did his thing, had 238 yards, threw a touchdown pass. Jaguars, they beat the Colts 37-34. Bills, they ended up losing to the Texans 23-20. And actually for the Jaguars too, I did want to say this. I'm skipping back just a second. They won. This was their first game. They were 0-3. Now they were 0-4. Now they're finally 1-4. So they got their first win for the Jaguars. Definitely happy for them. Cardinals, they beat the 49ers in a close matchup here. They ended up coming back. They were trailing by, I think, at one point, maybe 13 points, I believe it was. But they were trailing by double digits. And Carolina, the Cardinals ended up coming back and winning that game 24-23. And look, man, I ain't going to repeat any of the scores, but hey, go check them out. Go check out the rest of them that's there. But, you know, some people, they're wondering right now, the Bears, they're rolling. They're like, all right, hey, the Bears won. They did their thing. Hey, they beat the Panthers in London. They looked a little bit better. And I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree at all. The Bears definitely looked a lot better. Do I think, they're going to start dominating this season? Absolutely not. No, I do not. And a couple reasons I say they're not going to start dominating this season. One, because they played a good game, and it was against the Panthers. Look, matchups is everything. The Panthers, they've been bad this season. Every team that's played them has really been going crazy, besides the one game Andy Dalton had, and he turned it to Tom Brady. That was just weird, but clearly that wasn't the case against the Bears. Now, the reason why I say the Bears still have some things to worry about is because there was a lot of positives here, but, the things change on a week-to-week basis. So some of the positives, I'll start with them, is obviously Caleb Williams had much better protection in his game. You got to give credit to the O-line as well. You had Pryor and Murray stepping up big for the O-line after you had some injuries on that offensive line. You lost 2 starters, and you got guys coming from the backups, and they're doing their things. They only gave up 1 sack. Caleb Williams went down once, but we've seen this open up the game a lot more for the Chicago Bears. You've seen some screen passes that finally had some success. You've seen the run game. It was able to finally open up, have some sort of success. The passing game in general was able to evolve downfield. And one of the biggest difference makers I've seen here was the fact that the Bears were able to capitalize on opportunities in the red zone. They were 3 from 4 in the red zone when throwing the ball and just scoring in the red zone in general, I should say. 3 for 4. And it worries me because I'm like, with so much success in this week against the Panthers, I almost wouldn't want to change anything if I'm heading into next week. And obviously you got a game plan. You got to figure out, what's going to be best. But the thing that we've seen in the previous games with the Chicago Bears is the fact that there was just a lack of effort on the offensive line. It seemed like they just had some screws missing, and not in a good way. It seemed like they just forgot blocks and didn't know who to go get on blocks. It seemed like just mental errors from the Chicago Bears O-line, but we didn't see that in this game against the Panthers. We've seen, there's a select few where I'm like, okay, guys clearly missed blocks, but in terms of being able to execute on a consistent basis, we've seen guys do that for the most part against the Panthers here. And obviously, we know the defense still continued to keep the Bears alive, but as long as the defense can keep the Bears alive and the offense can somewhat be decent, then the Bears got a shot at winning most of their games. They don't have a seriously elite schedule here. Bears aren't going against, stacked teams every week. I'm looking at the schedule. Jaguars is next. That's cake. You got that. Commanders is going to be tough. It's in D.C. That's going to be tough. You play the Cardinals in Arizona. That's going to be tough on the road. But other than that, Patriots, Packers, Vikings, Lions, your division is the toughest part, but you don't see that back end of the schedule until. So this is the time, honestly, for the Bears. Hey, this is the time you do got to kind of enjoy the win, but it's going to get scary, and you got to learn a lot from these wins and losses that you have in the next few weeks, because when division play comes, it's going to get crucial. It's going to get tough. And it's not going to be easy at all when that division play comes, because we know what kind of teams the Vikings are right now. We're all shocked about the Vikings, especially after not having J.J. McCarthy. Man, shocked about them. Green Bay Packers, we know what they bring. Lions, obviously, we know what they bring. 49ers, Seahawks. Whoa, you see some dogs later on in this schedule. It just start off light. So these gimme type of games, you want to make sure you really attain those games and really lock in on those games. You want to win those. You need them. Those is important. Anyway, look, man, hey, that's all we got for y'all today. So, of course, appreciate you hanging with us. And, hey, shoot us a quick take. If you heard something you agree with, you like, you dislike, or even if you just want to outsmart me on something I said, that number is 219-413-9405. And then, hey, man, I'm going to leave y'all with a positive note, or just, a positive note. I'm going to leave y'all with this, man. And that positive note is just going to be, You know, there's always two sides of things. Just the same way there's always two sides of an argument, there's always two sides of things. And I look at that in terms of when something bad happens, there's always the other side of looking for the positive in that situation. Sometimes it may not be as obvious or evident as others, but just know there's always that other side where there's definitely something out there where you can find a positive in it. You trip and fall, I mean, hey, at least you didn't break your knee. You might have scraped it, but you didn't break it. I mean, there's always some sort of positive in any situation. And at some point, with you going on any type of journey or any type of run where it's tough for you or it's going to be difficult and hard, you got to dig for those positives, man, because the negatives is always easy to point out. It's easy to be like, oh, that's dirty. That's not good enough. This is not how I like. It's so easy to be picky about different things that you don't like, but it's you got to give yourself the grace of being able to find the positives too. Like, oh, I put out a bad episode, but hey, I put it out. It's consistent. I did it again. I gave effort. Always some positives. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Accept that however you want to. Other than that, look, hey man, follow us on Instagram at The Run Podcast. Follow us TikTok, all of that stuff at The Run Podcast, the YouTube. If you watch on YouTube and all of that. But anyway, there was one last thing. Yes, I was gonna tell y'all, send this to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, coworker, friend, spouse, partner, baby mama, second baby mama, third baby mama. Anybody you know who will enjoy this, especially if they enjoy sports. Definitely send this their way. But other than that, man, hey, I will see y'all later on next week or this week. See y'all later on this week. We're gonna watch the Chiefs beat the Saints, or maybe we won't. But all right, look, man, hey, I'm up out of here. I've wasted too much time. I'm up out of here. We'll see y'all later on this week, and so on and so on and so on.